Hi, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. So here it is, the 1964 Chevy Impala SS. Instruction manual, your basic instruction manual, nothing too fancy here. And we move on to the clear parts. They're pretty clear for the most part, not too much distortion. I'm okay with them. And now we're getting the interior tub out. It's pretty good, your average interior tub. It's an AMT kit and it's an older kit, so I don't expect much. So firewall and some other parts. And we got the chassis. Pretty good molding. I wish the exhaust wasn't molded in though. But oh well, that's the way it goes. And now we have the rest of the engine components. They look okay. Here's our chrome parts. I might strip the chrome and paint them in Alclad or Mr. Hobby Super Stainless or something. I don't know. We'll see. And then here are the gold lowrider parts that I ordered from Hoppin' Hydros. They're pretty good. Yeah, we'll see how they fit on the tires. I might have to buy tires. We'll see. And the Continental kit. And yeah, here are some more interior pieces and look like some pieces to the rear and front fascia. And two more bucket seats, some wheel parts. The dashboard. The dashboard looks pretty good. I'm going to try some different stuff with that hopefully, and we'll see what happens. Finally, we have the tires. They gave me 8 tires, so I don't know. I'll pick out which ones I think look best with the rims. And here's me searching around for some other stuff that was included. This is the steering wheel. Give me a moment while I unbag this, will you? There's me reaching for my scissors. Oh yeah, I know. I'm dragging it out. Finally, out of the bag. And you know what? The steering wheel does look pretty good. I'm going to have some fun with this one. Finally, I'm going to flock the interior with some red flocking from the model car garage. And just scooping around inside the box for the decals. Mind my head. Yeah, they look okay, but I don't think I'm going to use them on this kit. Got some plans for some other stuff, kind of like a custom sort of look. We'll see how it turns out. Hopefully it goes well. And finally, that's the kit. Let's jump onto the bench and get going. So I started off first by scuffing the body with Tamiya 600 grit sanding sponge. Basically lightly went over the body, just let the sander do the work. The sponges are great because they conform to all kinds of curves and stuff like that, so you can really sand out your body and get something nice for the primer to grab onto. Also remember, just use gentle pressure on the sponge. You don't need to push down or use any excessive force. Doing this will cause deep scratches into your plastic that the primer might not fill. I would advise against this at all costs. All you're doing here is hitting every panel and just taking the shine off the plastic. The 600 grit will not show any scratches. Your primer should fill any scratches or voids left in the plastic. Some would say this is an unnecessary step. I disagree. The reason why I disagree is because scuffing the plastic gives your primer some tooth to bite into. If you give it no tooth, it's not going to adhere as well. That's the reason why I do it. Another thing to remember is that preparation is key. The more you prepare, the better you prepare, the better your end results. This is always something I've lived by and continue to live by even through modeling. The gravity primer is a pretty hot primer. If you flood this primer onto your work, you will definitely craze your plastic. You do not want this, it'll create an undesirable finish. Like any automotive based lacquer, you're going to want to spray your coats very light at first, lightly building them up till you get a solid color. This will achieve the best finish possible. I found using gravity surface primer that it takes about 3 coats to completely cover a body. I find this pretty good performance, and the only thing you really have to watch is just your spraying. Make sure that you're not spraying heavy coats. Also remember to keep in mind that you have to hit every angle of the car. If primer misses a part of the car, it'll definitely change the color and could affect the plastic. This is definitely something we don't want. Here we start with the first coat of the undercoat for the Valencia Red, which is a Honda color. It's offered by Gravity Colors in Spain. Yeah, just basically the same as the primer. Really light coats, building your color up over time. I think I took 5 coats to finish this particular body. But as I said, you got to build it up over time. Just lightly spraying it on, not going too heavy. You can see the color starting to build as I make my passes with the airbrush. Making sure I hit everything. I don't want to leave any bare spots. That's always an annoyance while you're painting. The undercoat for this paint job is mostly, it's like a metallic red, orange sort of color. It looks darker in this light for some reason, but it's much lighter in a natural environment. As I said before, nice light coats, just gradually building up the color until you get the coverage you want and the look you desire. At this point, everything should be coming pretty straightforward. This is just a clear red sort of paint, really deep transparent red. Really liked this color. Loved how it came out as a finished product. Uh, couldn't recommend Gravity Colors enough. It's like any automotive lacquer, you just have to know how to paint it. What I mean by knowing how to paint it is that you need to almost spray the paint dry, meaning very light, higher air pressure, almost to the point where it atomizes before it hits the plastic, but it doesn't. You want it still wet hitting the plastic. Okay, here we go. Base coat number 2. As you can see, just like before, we're just spraying lightly, gradually building up the color over top of the base coat, or the undercoat, I should say. Yeah, I'm at this point in the build. I was getting really excited about this color. It's starting to come. It's starting to turn out nice on this one. The reason why I spray these light coats at first is because before I was using another brand of uh, color matched paint for models, and it didn't come out well. I was inexperienced at the time, and let's just say I flooded it onto the model and crazed the plastic and ruined a perfectly good model kit. I was so upset with myself and swore that I would learn how to do this and never end up having to do it again. Just remember, nice light coats and gradually build your color. Can't go wrong if you do that. At this point, as I was spraying, I was really liking the coverage and the way the color was starting to turn out. I knew at this point it would probably need about one more coat and I would be good. After inspecting the body, I just wanted to make sure that I had everything covered, so I just, sprayed over lighter areas and tried to blend everything together. After some deliberation, I decided to paint the roof white. I seen some pictures online of some 64 Impala lowriders that had the same color scheme, so that's what I went with. That being said, this Impala is also going to be a lowrider. I picked this because it's an interesting topic and something a little bit out of my wheelhouse, so I'm going to give it a try and see how well it turns out. After the first coat, I was a little worried that the white wouldn't completely cover the red, that the red might shine through the white. Luckily, that did not happen. It took me a few coats than what it probably would have taken, but eventually I got the white to where I wanted it. This coat probably wasn't needed, however, I wanted to make sure I had adequate coverage across the whole entire roof. After further inspection as I was painting, I could tell that this was the case. As this coat went down, I could tell that I was going to get the coverage that I was going to need. This made me feel great because I was really worried that the red would show through. So here's a first look at the color after I've let it cure for a bit. It looks pretty good. It's a lot lighter in real life, if that makes any sense. I don't know. It looks lighter to me when I look at it than when I look at it on screen. But it's a nice color. Yeah, so we'll see you next time.